Alright, so welcome back to the Q&A. It took me about an hour and a half to recharge the battery up to full, and it's now darker, so I apologize if the lighting sucks. This is all I have in case it's unsatisfactory. So, Captain Psychopath No, that's a very interesting name, asks, how does it feel to look back at some of your earlier videos? I don't look back on it. It really depends on what you mean by earlier. If you mean like Ocarina of Time and even earlier than that, the ones that survived, I really don't care too much for those. Ocarina of Time, I think, was a failed experiment. So was my first Super Metroid LP. I wanted to do more with that. It's just that I didn't start really getting good at Super Metroid until several months after I had made that one, and then I started live streaming it and constantly and doing all that stuff. Some of my older fans may remember things like that. I don't think I really started looking at anything that I did with any real satisfaction until Metroid Prime. And I'm not even sure why that, because that wasn't the one where I really started putting in 100% of everything that I wanted to do. That was Metroid Prime 2, Echoes. Metroid Prime, I would just look back with pride because I was able to shovel out 50 parts in a month. And try as I might, I've never been able to replicate that kind of performance since then. You could say that OOT, I shoveled it out that fast too, but it's a different beast, and I'm going to talk about this a little later with the question that so many people asked, and I said, like, look, just make sure that your question hasn't been asked, and still dozens of people asked, so I will get to it at the end of this little segment. What was my favorite Let's Play since I started YouTube? Well, I really enjoyed Shadow of the Colossus because I like what I did with it. I think I was pretty complete with that game, especially since I was doing it on hard mode. But as far as favorite goes, either Metroid Prime 2 or 3. Those are I think, probably my pinnacle, if you could say, of my YouTube career, and it certainly showed in my subscription acceleration. You know, I was getting like 1,000 people every couple of months. I was getting another 1,000 people back in those days, and that's scary when you think about it. That, you know, I was getting the acceleration. I think back then I had like 4,000 or something like that. I think it was about 4,000 subs, and then it just kind of fizzled out. And we'll get into why in a little bit. The Chaotic Shadow asks, what type of mic do I use? What mic do I recommend for Let's Players? Well, if you want to start off, excuse me here, if you want to start off with something, I wouldn't say use like a stick mic. I'd say go one better and use like a headset with a stick mic attached to the headset. For some reason, the sound quality is better because it's just the right distance away from your face. I forget exactly what it was that I had. I don't think they make it anymore. It was, I don't even remember the brand name anymore. Do I still have it over here? Hang on a second. No, of course I don't. I don't remember what else I had. But what I have right now is a, so hope I don't screw it up too much. What I use now is called a Blue Snowball. I got it for around $90, I think, on sale. It looks silly. It's like the most ridiculous looking microphone you've ever seen. But I got a little pop filter for it. It's got 3 modes on the back. You can see right there. There's a little thing that switches between modes. A switch in the back. And it uses omnidirectional and 2 cardioid, which means more like a cone in front of you. Omnidirectional, of course, means it gets the whole room, which isn't particularly necessary when you're capturing game audio. It's a pretty solid piece of equipment. I've had it for about, let's see, I got it Christmas of 2010, I believe it was. So I've had it for almost 3 years now. I really enjoy it. I get some pretty good sound quality out of it. you have to get just the right distance so that it doesn't sound too like tinny. Like if you're too far away, it'll start. It sounds like you're speaking into like a soda can or something like that. You need just the right distance, and always, especially with an exposed mic like this, always have a pop filter. Otherwise, your P's are going to start sounding like volcanic eruptions. You don't want that kind of shit to happen. But I use a Blue Snowball. And I might as well answer this right now. I don't think it was asked any further up on the list, but what I used to record, I went into this a little bit briefly in my explanation of what I use to record, what the recording process is like, and basically you have to understand that what I have is a pretty expensive piece of equipment. Now, that being said, I think it's the bare minimum if you're going to do any current gen games, because what I used to use was called a Dazzle. Essentially what it was this little TV tuner device that had AV cables. It had the yellow, the red, and the white for the standard video and audio output. It really doesn't cut it in this day and age for anything recent. In fact, I would say if you have any plans of even doing a Wii game, don't use a Dazzle, because it just comes out looking weird. I don't know what it is, but what I use right now is called a Hauppauge HD PVR. It's pretty expensive, but they have a new one that they just released that has, I don't know if it has full 1080p support, but it does have HDMI support. So you'll be able to do, without any cable spaghetti, you'll be able to record Wii U footage, Xbox 360. Unfortunately, the PS3 HDMI is not, I think it's copy protected, so you can't like use any output for it. But you can still use the component cables, you know, the red, green, and blue, and then the standard audio output. But the Hauppauge, immediately when I used it, I noticed a huge increase in quality. This thing is designed, unlike the Dazzle, which I think maxes out at 480p, this thing will max out at 720p or 1080i if you want it to. It's a pretty good piece of equipment, and from what I understand, they have a new one out that goes even better. So I would, if you really want to do anything that you want to be proud of with your Let's Plays, I mean, I've been a quality nut for a long time. I switched to Sony Vegas when I was in my second actual year of Let's Plays, I would say 2008, and then late 2009 I did Sony Vegas. So, and immediately I started noticing a huge upgrade in render times. But again, more on that later. Yes, I'm not dead. Zisiah Brown, I can't read that name. Zisiah Brown asked, why are all these people coming up with rumors that I'm dead? I don't know. Why me of all people? Why isn't like fucking Carlos Estevez, or that's Charlie Sheen's current name? Why is Carlos Estevez not dead? Like, why is somebody interesting? Like, why me? Why not somebody more interesting than me? I don't know. This is the second time that somebody decided to say that I'm dead, and this is the second time people started to believe it. I'm not dead. And truth be told, if I were dead, and I'm going to go on the record and say this, if I were dead, you wouldn't hear about it. Nobody that knows me personally would go on gallivanting on my YouTube channel and start saying shit like, oh, he's dead, when in fact my Facebook has fucking activity the day of that I supposedly died. Now, the car crash thing I thought was funny because TrueEdge 2097 actually bought it, and he gave a awesome little eulogy for me. I was like, oh, well, if I actually died, I would, hey. But no, I'm not dead. And no, I'm not allergic to tomatoes. I love pizza. And what was the rumor? There was somebody put a tomato on my pizza, and I'm allergic to tomatoes, and I'm not, by the way. Somebody put a tomato on my pizza. I was allergic to tomatoes. I bit into the tomato and died on the spot. never mind the tomato sauce in the pizza. You know, you can get tomato sauce on the side or no tomato sauce or anything like that on pizza, having worked in pizza before. But no, I'm not allergic to tomatoes, and I find it kind of silly that anything like that would be suggested, but whatever. That said, if there is a death rumor circulating around me, it's not true. In fact, if I were dead, you wouldn't know about it. You'd just see me never upload again. There'd be no... And people would speculate that I was dead or whatnot, but you know what? Fact is, I have a long period of time that I go without uploading anyway, so... what are my thoughts on the Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U? I guess this is the game that they were referencing before that I'm going to have to check out. 3D World. Does that make it like Super Mario World in 3D? I don't know. Let's see. There's a lot of repeat questions. What do I think the next One Ram Tough asks, what do I think the next Metroid game will be like, and when will it come out? I don't know when it'll come out. Like I said, Nintendo's in damage control right now for Metroid. The most they'll ever do of Samus, for the time being, is put her in Super Smash Bros. Wii U and Super Smash Bros. 3DS. I think that they're going to have to figure out what exactly went wrong with Other M, and that's a very long list of things that went wrong, and consider changing things up, maybe give it a different developer. Now, this is what I'm going to be referencing a little bit later, but since it's a specific question, how many, FF Champ 12 asks, how many well-rested ass cheeks, in parentheses, games you haven't finished, need to be finished? Well, let's count. So, as far back as, I mean, we're going to separate this into a list of games that I deleted the progress of because I have no plans of ever finishing them, and ones that I haven't deleted that just remain incomplete. Jet Force Gemini, that's one. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, that's on the top of my priority list. Ratchet and Clank is a game I really shouldn't have uploaded in the first place because I was doing a project at the time. You know, stupid me at the time, you know, thought it'd be a good idea, and then I started getting really pissed off with what was going on in the wrestling world, getting pissed off with my job I work, and, you know, I was getting pissy, so I shouldn't have done it at the time. Ratchet and Clank, Metal Gear Rising, that's my main one. Jet Force Gemini has been on hold for years, literally years. I think I was doing that, what, in 2010? I think it was 2010. Oh my god. What else? I can't think of anything else right now. I'm sure people are going to be like, of course, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, so that's 4. Those are the ones that come to mind. I'm sure there's other ones. There are other ones that I did on other websites that, you know, whatever happened with those, I don't know. But, continuing on, Xander QWERTY123 says, "My good sir, does this mean we will be getting more content from you in the upcoming future? If so, would you be interested in giving hints? And if that is the case, please reveal them. Keep video making, please. Your content is appreciated by me." Well, your comment is appreciated by me. Honestly, I don't know what I want to do. I need to finish fucking Metal Gear Rising. I hate post-commentary. I fucking hate it. I hate doing it. I don't want to do it. Like, the only time I ever like doing post-commentary is for something that's really, really fucking fast, like a Sonic game, or, obviously something that's pre-recorded, like the Zelda timeline videos when I was talking over some of the stuff I was seeing. But that was scripted. I fucking hate post-commentary. And when I saw that my commentary was just fucking garbled with construction going on in the Taco Hell at the time, which is done, by the way, I was not happy. I was pissed, because I should have just gone back and listened to the commentary at the time and figured out if it was good or not, and maybe recorded it at a better time when the construction wasn't going on. But you know, hindsight is 2020. I don't know what I want to do next. I have a PS4 that's on the way, and I really, really, really want to play fucking Watch Dogs and Infamous Second Son. But if I were to do Infamous Second Son, people would ask, do you want to do the regular Infamous games? 1 and 2. Well, regular. Do you want to fucking do your Ratchet and Clank stuff? And yes, I do. I loved Ratchet and Clank when I played it, and I hear the sequels are better. Again, this is all going into the conclusion of it. Genesis Sanctuary asked me again what I consider my best work, either Metroid Prime 1 or 2 or my Super Metroid redo. It wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, but you know, people seem to like that. Actually, Zero Mission I enjoyed too. The Master Chord. Good sir, I have several inquiries, if thou art of the temperament to answer them. Yes, I am. I've already mentioned that I'm looking forward to A Link Between Worlds. I haven't seen a whole lot of what's going on lately, but I mean, any resemblance to A Link to the Past. Of course, I said the same fucking thing when Other M had a resemblance to Super Metroid. Anyways, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I need more games on my 3DS. Oh, Kid Icarus Uprising was the other one, but again, have you ever played any games from the Fallout series? Did I do a Black Bag episode on it once, or did I just do a review on this channel? I don't remember. Yeah, I played Fallout. I haven't played any of the, what is it, Obsidian? I don't know. I haven't done any of the Fallout games prior to Fallout 3, but I have played Fallout 3. Loved the shit out of it. Played Fallout New Vegas. Not so much. I could go back now and maybe most of the bugs would be fixed, but I doubt it. I like Fallout. Fallout 3 was one of my favorite games. It was one of the only games I got for the PS3 because I was like, I have to get this game. I don't want an Xbox 360. I want to play this game. I don't have a PC worth a damn. I want to play this game. So I got it. And I love the shit out of it. It was, like I said, the first game that I ever completed for my PS3. Loved it. Where did I get the Screw Attack pillow? Because I want one. Well, this was made to me by a friend of mine. And no, it's not for sale. It's not for anything like that. It's a nice little piece of Metroid that I could snuggle up to and remember the good times before Metroid Other M. But it is what it is. If you want to contact the person who made the Screw Attack pillow, I will ask for their permission. And if they say, go ahead, I will put it in the description below. If they don't, if they want to stay private, that's fine. I'm going to honor that. But anyways, X Cypher, I guess. Hey Lan, a few questions. One, what's your favorite multiplayer game? Favorite multiplayer game. I don't play a whole lot of multiplayer games. I don't know if I would even count Super Smash Bros. Brawl as a multiplayer game because the only multiplayer I've ever played of it, aside from a few conventions that I went to and got to play local, was horrible Wi-Fi matches. I mean, most of the people that I would play the game with are hundreds of miles away, and that was not a good experience. I mean, I played some good times with them. Super Smash Bros. Melee I played the shit out of with my friends back home, but I haven't been able to replicate that with Brawl. World of Warcraft I played the fuck out of. It's one of my bigger regrets. I started it right around Cataclysm, which was late. I think I started it in January of 2011. I put a lot of fucking time into that game. Only one character, too. I mean, I have a couple others, but none of them are what I put on my rogue. Oh, man. I just quit World of Warcraft for the second time. I think this is my last time. I think I'm done with it. But as far as MMORPGs go, I'm really looking forward to the Elder Scrolls Online, and that's not a good thing from a recovering WoW addict. It's not. Other multiplayer games, I loved the shit out of Battlefield Bad Company 2. I wasn't big on Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. But I loved Battlefield Bad Company 2. And to a lesser degree, Battlefield 3. There's some things that I prefer about it. But there's a lot of... I never really got into multiplayer games until recently. But there's some good ones out there. Let's see. Are there any games that have multiplayer game modes, but in my opinion shouldn't? I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a particular experience with a whole lot of multiplayer games. I think Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, it's a first-person game, and it's really disorienting when you can see on the other person's screen. You can see Samus, like, I'm not supposed to be seeing this, it's first person. Especially when you get into the morph ball and the space jump, which actually looks like the space jump from Super Metroid when you actually look at it from a third-person perspective. But I don't know. I don't really, like I said, I don't dig too much into multiplayer games enough to be able to give you an answer on that. Most of the ones that I played were N64 party games and things like that, and those are good multiplayer experiences. And what is my opinion of multiplayer achievements / trophies? Multiplayer achievements / trophies, or just trophies and achievements in general? I wouldn't make a distinction between the two. As far as achievements and trophies go, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I was a serious overachiever in games before they came up with achievements. You were looking at somebody who on Final Fantasy VII had a Master Materia set for all 8 characters. Well, there were 9, but you of course know the story and why in the end game you have 8. For all 8 characters, I had a set of Master Materia. Why? Nobody knows. You only need 3. You could just switch it out. Hell, with Master Materia, you have everything available anyway. I don't know why I did that. It was just something that in my teenage years I had to do. And I did it. And I hate myself for it. But, you know, at least with trophies and achievements, it gives you something to strive for and not something so insane that nobody would ever even consider doing it. Nobody, ever. No. It's like, what the fuck do you even need this for? You've already beaten all the weapons. Like, why? What would prompt you to do this? Has anybody ever come up with anything that crazy in a fucking video game? Has anybody ever done that similar to what I've done? I'd like to hear your crazy overachieving skills, because I think that's the craziest thing that I've ever heard a game without some kind of little carrot for you to chase. Whatever. That's my opinion on achievements and trophies. I don't mind them. I really like them. Trail Duster 6BT asks thoughts on the Shin Megami Tensei series. I haven't played any of them. I've heard Persona is a really great series, but haven't played it. Haven't. Same thing. Zeltaro asks, what's my favorite creepypasta? I don't know any creepypastas, and from what I've heard, I don't really think I would care to, because they're basically just memes of, like, fictional horror memes based on childhood games. I don't know if it's just like Pokemon, because I know Pokemon's a big offender of it, but I think it's other things too. Wasn't it like Ben Drowned or something like that from Majora's Mask? I don't know. What was my favorite... Nathan Lionberger asks, what was my favorite Metroid game when I was 9? You're really going to ask me that? Because I didn't play Super Metroid until I was 11. My favorite Metroid game when I was 9? I think the only Metroid game I knew about at the time was Metroid 2. My cousin came over for the summer. He had his Game Boy. And I was like, wow, what's that? And he was playing Metroid 2. And for some reason, I really liked the series just based on the music that starts off on SR388. You know, the da 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 da. That song. I really liked it. And I was like, I want to play this game. And eventually he went away and he took his game with him. And I was like, I really want to play this game. And I saw Super Metroid. I was like, wow, this looks cool. I sucked at it. I sucked balls. I was stuck on Ridley for weeks. It was on an emulator. Because I was one of the people who didn't have a Super Nintendo growing up. I chose the Sega Genesis, damn it. And then I got a Nintendo 64. And, you know, it was one thing after another. My biggest regret is that I didn't get the Super Nintendo instead. I don't regret getting the Genesis, but I do wish I had gotten the Super Nintendo as well, because there's so many great things that I missed out on. I didn't play A Link to the Past until my mom found a boyfriend whose kids had a Super Nintendo, and they had A Link to the Past, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. The music was better. The games seemed longer too. Like Genesis, you see a lot of arcade style games that don't take too long to beat. But with Super Nintendo, there were a lot of fucking long games on it. A Link to the Past was long as fuck in comparison to some of the shit on the Genesis. I mean, mind you, there were like Phantasy Star and things like that, but Chrono Trigger, I never got to play that game until I was a teenager. There were a lot of games that I missed out on, and though I consider myself a scholar of video games now, I was not when I was a kid. As much as I harp on emulators and why I don't like to fucking use them, at least to record a game, they introduced me to some really good stuff. MP guy Duke Marriott asks, what are my thoughts on the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games? Never played them. I'm more of just a straight Pokemon guy. I've done more than my share of overachieving in those games too. Arkham Escape E asks, question for Q&A. If it would make you able to do YouTube full-time instead of the brick-and-mortar jobs you don't like, would you accept donations / merchandise revenue? This is a very interesting question for me, because if I were to go and make a video 4 to 5 times a week, from that, the viewership acceleration and you know, sort of people tuning back in, it doesn't matter what I do, as long as it's, you know, somewhat relevant and, you know, consistent. There is no doubt in my mind that I could live off of this. Now, like I said, I don't earn a lot, but based on just sheer volume, I would be able to do so. And a lot of people have asked me why I don't, and the truth of the matter is because I like to have fun with it. And I really hate owing people, and I know when it's a donation or merchandise revenue, and I don't know what the fuck I would do merchandise-wise. Like, what, I fucking take that, you fuck shirt? Like, what the hell is that? People could make those things themselves. I don't know what I hate owing people. And donations by themselves, they don't come with the stigma of owing people, but at the same time they do. Because immediately you get donations and you feel like you have to do this for the sake of those donations. And I hate owing people. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, somebody gives me, like, lends me some money. I'm like, I don't want this. Even if I need it, it makes me almost ill to owe anybody any money. It's a deep question, and sorry for the deep answer. You know, everybody wants to be able to make money or even have a livelihood doing what they like, and I like Let's Playing, or even going one further, just live streaming, randomly live streaming games, doing, you know, more well-edited videos like the things that I did with my Zelda timeline, just little projects like that. I would like to do that. The only issue is, as I'm sure everybody knows, I think it's over a dozen questions asking, will you finish this project? Will you finish this project? Will you finish this project? You have to understand, when I do these things, I do them live 9 times out of 10. And when I do them live, I am feeling very, very passionate about the game at that point in time. And then something else comes out. And I don't have like an attention disorder or anything like that, but I get bored very easily. And the thing that really bores me more than anything, as much of a stickler as I am for detail, is the editing process. I swear to God, freaking 10 cents out of every, 20 cents out of every dollar I'd make, I'd put towards somebody to freaking edit and, well, maybe not edit because editing is easy. Just sit there, sit through and do the rendering process and upload my videos. I swear to God, I do so much on the internet. I mean, it's part of what I do for a little bit of money nowadays. I do so much that having my computer out of commission, period, for any amount of time, like even setting it up to go while I'm at work, it's just a pain in the ass. I don't like doing it. I really don't like doing it. If it were just record it, put the commentary together, save it like it was a Word document, and then put it up like it was a small-ass Word document, I'd be doing this every day of the week. Every fucking day of the week I would. It's not like that. And I wish it were. And like I said, I'd be willing to put... But I can't do that because nobody has access to my computer. And I'm not going to go through the process of putting all the raw video footage and audio commentary up on a website, because then I might as well just fucking upload it myself. It's a very interesting situation. It's all about motivation, and it's all about passion. It's why I can't do post-commentary. It's why I hate doing post-commentary. I wouldn't say that I can't do it because I did it for OOT, but at the time I wasn't comfortable with live commentary. But going back and faking it, or even not faking it, but just giving a take on what you're seeing on screen, I hate it. I just hate it. And I hate going back to a project that I did months and months, sometimes even years ago. I hate the idea of going back and putting them up. I know it's an incompletion thing, and I know it really wouldn't take a whole lot of effort and time to do it, especially with Jet Force Gemini. Those videos were recorded in such a way that I'd do it kicking and screaming, kind of like how I did Majora's Mask. I could theoretically do Jet Force Gemini, because like I said, the commentary and the video is all there. I'd have to sit through an editing process because at the time what I was recording with was doing a little bit of audio desync, and that's a pain in the ass. I don't know, guys. In a perfect world, I could just throw them up and they'd be there for all to see. I can tell you for a fact that unless... I love Kid Icarus Uprising, and looking back, I really should have known that was going to be a failed project right there, because the way I was recording it, I was not having any fun at all, and I love playing the game. Put that thing back up. I love playing the game, and it's kind of painful, like, to sit here behind the camcorder, the camera that I'm using to record right now, sit here behind the camcorder, the audio cable, I have an audio jack going out from the headphone jack into an audio capture device, and that records the audio because I'm treating it like a microphone into my computer. So the audio I can record, but the video I have to camcorder it. Number one, the way I was doing it was for maximum video quality. Bottom line is, there needs to be like a 3DS capture device, and I know there is one. I went to the website, and it's a lot of fucking money for something that I have one game for. And truth be told, when I was uploading Kid Icarus Uprising, it's a give and take. When I release something with a little bit of a lukewarm response, it kind of takes away the passion that I have for it at the time, because I was thinking, wow, I thought this was going to work out. And, you know, it does not work out. And it's not that I think about it as something, as a dollar and cents thing. It's just, I like getting feedback from so many people. Like back in the day at Metroid Prime, I was getting comments out the ass. And it wasn't just first or, oh wow, this video is awesome. I was getting into discussions with some of my viewers, and I really enjoy that. I like intelligent discussion. I do! It's why I made the fucking Zelda Timeline series. I didn't do it to stroke my own penis. I did it because I wanted to hear what other people thought. I wanted to hear what they thought about mine. I wanted to hear about their own ideas. I liked that discussion. That's sort of died as of late, as far as, you know, and there are a couple of viewers, especially the ones that I recognize, that do give that kind of intellectual feedback that I can just go through. Hey, I like this. I think I'll respond to it, and then you get a little conversation going. I still do that. It's something that if I could make a living off of it, and I right now as it stands, I could make a video every day, if not even half. At this point, I think maybe 15% of my subscribers watch my stuff. If I do a video every fucking day, and of my 13,000, if like 2,000 of them watched my shit every single day, I could live off of that. I could live very comfortably off of that, actually. But it's at that point, it becomes a job. And it becomes something that I have to do this today. I have to do this today. Not I want to do this today. And when it gets to that point, does it lose its fun factor? I don't know. And for a lot of times, even before I was doing the YouTube partnership thing, I would get that way. I would like, I don't want to do this today. I really don't want to do this today. And then that leads to another, I don't want to do this today. And then next thing you know, it's been a year since you did the upload. I don't know the answer to that question. I really don't. If I, like I said, I'm a very in-the-moment kind of guy. If I was able to take that attitude that I have in the moment and extend it just a little bit longer, every single one of my projects would be done. And that's just a personal thing that I have to start doing. We'll see. We'll see. And I know it frustrates a lot of people to see so many projects and that they get excited about, and I get excited about them too. But for one reason or another, it just doesn't get done. I will tell you for a fact that Metal Gear Rising will be done, and Metal Gear Rising will be done before the end of the year. That's a very enormous timetable for such a small game. But Zone of the Enders was a really big, that was the other one, Zone of the Enders. That was a real big tragedy because I had everything fucking done. I wanted to save the last episode of that for when I had the first episode of the second runner-up, and within a week of uploading, a week of getting finished with the second runner, everything went to hell in a handbasket. I lost the hard drive I was on. That's the last time I ever fucking rely on a laptop. What I'm using now, that's a desktop. That's a desktop, and it's been a hell of a lot more reliable than the 2 laptops that I've had over my time on YouTube. That's just, I mean, I know, very lengthy answer, but it's a deep question, so I wanted to give all of my scatterbrained thoughts about it. And let's see here. I'm going to reload the page just to make sure I didn't miss any recent comments. Shadowrunner431 asks, what do you think is worse, Sonic 06 or Metroid Other M? Well, Sonic 06, pound for pound, is a worse game than Metroid Other M. Metroid Other M, to me, is a more disappointing game because I hadn't really been that invested in the Sonic series in a long time, not since Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Heroes was good. Shadow the Hedgehog was, I thought it was okay. I didn't really enjoy it, and there were a lot of technical problems with it. Sonic 06, I wasn't invested in it. I didn't have an Xbox 360 or a PS3 when it came out. I knew going into the game that it couldn't possibly be as bad as people were saying. I went into the thought thinking that I was going to play something that people were overrating the badness of. They weren't! It's a horrible fucking game! I hated myself after I wanted to just split the fucking disc in half when I did the silver ball puzzle. Every Mach Speed section, every fucking Mach Speed section took me half an hour to complete. because you would get to it with a couple lives left, you'd die, and then you have to go through the whole fucking stage again. If you're lucky, it's a bad fucking game. And as much as I harp on Metroid Other M, Metroid Other M, at its core, it's a functional game. It's not a very fun game for me, even if you take out the horrible story, the poor acting. I mean, the story itself, this is why I hate midquels, because it can't do too much to affect the game that preceded it in the story, and it can't do much to affect the game that it preempts. It has to be its own self-contained thing. There's some games that can do that. Metroid Other M, no. It was horrible. The acting, I mean, the music was mad. Name one track from that, one original track from that game. Yes, the Ridley theme does not count. The awesome orchestrated Ridley theme does not count because it's already a pre-existing track in the series. Name one music track from that fucking game that you can remember. I'm big on video game music. I fucking love it. Metroid Other M, at its core, it's a functional game. Sonic 06 really cannot say the same thing. But I have never been more disappointed with a game than Metroid Other M. Never. Never. Especially when they fucking advertised the game with trailers referencing Super Metroid. It's like it was trying to make a dime off of the legacy of my favorite game ever made, and it got all 50 bucks out of me. I hated myself when I saw the $5 price tag of that bitch at Best Buy. I was like, God damn, I want my $45 back. Oh, it's a bad fucking game. It's functional. It's okay. I mean, if that's your cup of tea, go for it. But you can't tell me that the story does anything for you. You can't tell me that the characters do anything for you. You can't tell me that the music does anything for you. You can't tell me that anything in that game does anything for you that another game in the series doesn't do better. You can't tell me that. And if you try and tell me that, I will tell you to play the other games in the series and challenge you to tell me it. Metroid Prime, Super Metroid, my God. Play one of those. Echoes. Zero Mission. God damn. There's so many better games. Even Fusion, which the game shamelessly rips off from cover to cover almost. The only thing that needed to be in it was the fucking X-Parasites and Samus's big fusion suit. That's all you fucking needed. God damn. And then the fucking idea that the gravity suit was turned into the gravity feature and its purple aura. I have so much to say about that game that I really shouldn't. But the fucking purple aura instead of the purple suit. God, because it's girly. You're playing as a fucking woman. You did everything you could to feminize Samus in that game, and we didn't have a problem with it. It's the way you did it. Whatever. I need to stop talking. But the final question that's up 46 minutes ago, the Marcy Brooks asked, can you do more Super Metroid videos? Do you want more Super Metroid videos? I think I've beaten the game to death with a stick. If you want more, I'd fucking play Super Metroid over and over and over again. Do you want more? I know a lot of people asked about Metroid Fusion. I mean, that's a game that I don't have as much attachment to. I'm not as passionate about it. I could do it. And I could do it pretty fucking quickly, too. I mean, it's only, like, even my first playthrough of that game, I think, was just over the 2-hour mark. And I could do less than an hour and 46 minutes, I think, is the time that I had. Not 100%, mind you. I don't know that game anywhere near as well as I know Super Metroid or Zero Mission. But I could do a minimalist speed run. Sure. I could. It's kind of a pain in the ass because my GameCube's in storage. And, you know, you gotta do a whole bunch of stuff just to get it the Hauppauge to accept composite cables. I could do it. But more Super Metroid videos? Have I beaten that game to death with a stick? I mean, I'd be open to it. I prefer streaming it, and I prefer streaming in general just because, like I said before, I'm a very in-the-moment kind of guy. And nothing captures in the moment better than a fucking live stream. I don't have to edit it. I don't have to render it. It's all done for me. It's not done in as good of a quality as I would like, and sometimes there's lag, but I mean, it gets the job fucking done in a way that I like. So, this Q&A went on far longer than I wanted it to. Far fucking longer. But I think I'm done. I think I mentioned pretty much every question. I know there were some repeats, and if I didn't mention your name, it's because it was all sort of clumped up in that big question of when will this project get done? Will this project get done? Will you do this project? Will you do that project? I don't know. Metal Gear Rising is definite. And, you know, I'm going to go on a limb here and say Ratchet and Clank is a definite as well, but when, I don't know. It just, you know, it's not just free time, it's motivation too, because when I'm off of work and I have a day off, you know how it is. You don't want to do anything. Even if you kind of enjoy doing it, it's still work to a degree, because you gotta render, you gotta edit, you gotta sit through the rendering process, you gotta sit through the uploading process. And I know people say you can just leave it and do other things, but whatever. I'm a child of technology. I know it's a sad thing, but it's what it is. Anyways, like I said, I've gone on far too long. I've gone on 46 minutes on this fucking video alone, and I got another half hour on the other one. So this has been far too fucking long. Have a good day, everybody.